Hello, everybody. We welcome you to this presentation by Adventure Consults. We do safaris in Uganda and Rwanda, but today we focus on Uganda. Next time, we'll be looking at other destinations. We hope you're doing well, and we congratulate you for going through the hectic and harsh times. The last 2 years we know have been very difficult, but we appreciate the fact that you've managed to grip on and managed to stand the times and the rafts, and you're still with us and ready to travel one more time and again send out people and organize those amazing holidays to wonderful destinations. My name is Brian Mugume. I'm the director at Adventure Consults. I'll be taking you through highlights of what Uganda has got to offer, why you should be thinking about Uganda, and importantly, why you should be dealing with working with Adventure Consults. I have a degree in tourism, which was the start of my career in tourism. And I've been working in this field for close to 20 years now. I'm so enthusiastic about conservation and travel. Quite often I go out there and do some guiding, and together with my expert guides, we do group trips, VIP trips. So I do not just sit in office. I don't simply coordinate my team or run around marketing, but sometimes I find myself in the bush, and I love doing that because I believe that is the origin of life, and that is my passion. Adventure Consults, we specialize in designing private safaris mainly, but of course, we also do scheduled trips. Though over time, we've realized that most people prefer to have their own private individual trips to suit their own available time, budgets, sometimes small family groups, couples, honeymooners, photography trips, alumni groups, photography trips, cycling, and all. So we find ourselves offering trips to satisfy everybody's interests. We do not limit on the number of people. We will not tell you that you must travel around this time. We do understand that it is somebody's holiday. So we work with you, we work with everybody to ensure you get a holiday of your choice. First of all, as I told you, today we'll be concentrating on Uganda. Many people have written about this beautiful country. You might be wondering why. I don't know if you're able to read this text here. I'll try to zoom in, maybe make it a little bit bigger. A lot has been said about Uganda. But I know there are some people out there who don't really know much about this beautiful country. As you can read the words of Sir Winston Churchill, these beautiful words have got a history. There is an origin to this. Uganda, as a small country as it looks, we've got 10 national parks. Let me see if we can make the map a little bigger so that you're able to see. Quite often, people think all we have are the gorillas, but tell you what, we have got more than that. Out of the 10 national parks, the 5, which is Kidepo Valley, Murchison Falls, Samuliki National Park, Queen Elizabeth National Park right over here, and Lake Imboro National Park. Those are 5 savanna parks. Those ones have got the big 5. Of course, the big 5, there's some friends of mine, they say we actually have the big 7, because other than the well traditionally known elephant, lion, leopard, the buffalo, and the rhinos, we've got the giraffes, we've got the zebras, of course, we have the chimpanzees, we have the gorillas, we've got it all. Then there's a 5 and other 2 national parks, Mount Elgon here and Mount Rwenzori. Those are typical mountains for anybody who could be looking at having a typical mountaineering experience of anything between 3 to 10 days. For a good climber, Mount Rwenzori is ideal for you. It will take you about 8 to 9 days going up and down. I'll be giving you more information about that as we move on. Mount Elgon has got a beautiful caldera lake on top. A good hike can take up to 3-4 days. It's far in the eastern Uganda. Then we've got Kibale Forest National Park here, the park with the highest primate concentration, I think, in the world. We've got about 13 primate species here, with the champion being the chimpanzees and lots of other monkeys, as I'll be taking you through. Then the famous Bwindi Impenetrable National Park and the Mugahinga National Park further here in southwestern Uganda. These are the homes for the well-known mountain gorillas. I don't know if everybody of you here are aware that Uganda is home to over 50% of the remaining mountain gorillas in the world. As we talk, there, according to the recent statistics, the census that was done at the end of 2019, there are about 1,080, 1,060 or thereabouts individuals remaining in the world, of which half of that population is around here. You do not really have to keep scratching your head as to why you have to choose Uganda. I think a brief that I've taken you through in the introduction map already gives you a highlight of what Uganda has got to offer and what you can tell people what the country is all about. We'll have a short video, which will take about 2.5 minutes to quickly take you through the highlights of the country, the highlights of Uganda destination, right from meeting you at the airport, running through 2 or 3 day excursions, then to Murchison Falls, and you fly to Kibale Forest for the chimpanzees, and you take a drive to Queen Elizabeth, drive through the tree climbing lands of Ishasha, then you end up with the gorillas down in Bwindi. So enjoy the video. All right. I hope that gives you a quick highlight of what we've got to offer. As I told you, I took you through the map. Uganda has got there are different national parks, and we have got the highest concentration of primate species, not only limited to gorillas, but we've got the golden monkeys, black and white Colobus monkeys. We've got the chimpanzees. We've got lots of other primate species. The presence of these primates provides opportunities for organizing amazing primate-related kind of adventure activities. We won't talk about all of them, but we'll concentrate on a few highlights, like the chimpanzee habituation experience. I'm sure we are all used to going for chimpanzee tracking, which involves waking up in the morning, you enter the forest, look for the chimpanzees, find them, spend an hour with them, listen to the vocalizations and all, see them play. Then after 1 hour, you walk back and proceed with your forest walk. It's an amazing way to do it. But Adventure Consults, we feel there's a better way, there's a different way to offer these activities. For those who have more time and you are really interested in spending some time with the chimpanzees, take amazing photographs, listen to the researchers, get to know what the whole process is about to get the chimpanzees get used to people. You basically become one of the researchers. You become a researcher for the day. So what happens is we organize for you a special permit that allows you to spend 4 hours in the forest. You start early in the morning at 6, go in the forest with the researchers. When you find the chimps denesting, that is when they are coming out of the nest early in the morning, you watch them, keep following them as they feed their young ones, as they play, they groom, they show them how to survive in the forest. Then you will be told all those processes. You're told about their relationships with other forest animals, what they feed on, of course, the fruits and all, what is their major source of protein. So you get an in-depth understanding of the chimpanzees. That's what we call chimpanzee habituation experience. We do this in Kibale Forest National Park and Murchison Falls. Murchison Falls has got the tropical part of the park called the Kaniu Pabidi. Then, just like the chimpanzee habituation experience, we also do organize gorilla habituation experience. With gorilla habituation experience, just like the chimpanzees, you enter the forest quite early, anytime between 6 and 7 o'clock. You find the gorillas, they take you through all those scientific approaches. They tell you what exactly they go through before the gorillas get used to people. You become part of the team. You see how they relate with the young ones. Well, you get an in-depth understanding. And if you really want to take very good photographs of the gorillas, this is the recommended way to approach gorilla tracking. It is a very sensitive activity, limited to only 4 people. So this kind of limitation means you are few, you get more attention, the guides, you get an opportunity to interact with the guides, you ask more questions as you wish, you get to learn more, you get a proper understanding of what gorilla life is all about. Why Uganda? Its location Uganda's location gives it the best opportunity to run trips throughout the year. It's right across the equator with no distinct seasons. You will never find that a certain part of the country is closed because of too much rain or it is too hot. There used to be traditional seasons, but it is high season and low season. Uganda no longer has that kind of thing because in what they call the rainy season, it can shower in the night when you're sleeping. Then in the morning, it's warm, it's sunny. You enjoy the day activities. The afternoon is sunny. Then late evenings, you get a little showers. And most parts of the year, it's relatively sunny. It's never too cold. This kind of environment favors the growth of grass. There's available food for the animals, both the grazers, the herbivores, the chimpanzees, the fruits are there, the gorillas have food throughout the year. Of course, importantly, the people, because without a healthy population, without happy people, you will not get a good experience. You will not be taken around. So Uganda's location gives it the best opportunity to run safaris throughout the year. So never wonder when to really travel to Uganda. Just do it as and when you're ready, whenever it's convenient for you. As I told you earlier, we actually have the big 7, but here in this photo we have the big 5. We have the lions, the leopard, the buffalo, the rhinos, the elephants, we have the giraffes, we have the zebras, we have so many types of antelopes. So we got everything that you might be looking for from any part of Africa or any part of the world. So basically, quite often we say Uganda is more like Little Africa. Anything wild that you might be looking for, you'll find it in Uganda. So all the national parks, as I told you, the 5 national parks, savanna parks that I told you, they have got well-paved roads and tracks for game viewing. Unique animals, as you can see the leopard here relaxing in a cactus tree. In the other part of Queen Elizabeth, you get an opportunity to interact with the tree climbing lions. These are lions who have accustomed their lifestyle to being in the trees up there. Scientists think they try to these lions are up in the trees to avoid excessive flies on the ground and excessive heat. And also when they're up in the trees, they also have good viewing points for hunting, or sometimes after eating, they just go and relax there. Uganda has got over 50% of Africa's bird population and over 11% of the world's bird population. The country has got unique and endemic bird species, some of which you'll not find anywhere else in the world. Some birds, you'll find them in the country, they migrate, they come during certain times when it's too cold in Europe, or America, or anywhere else, some places. So they come here for this conducive environment. The marshes, the lakes, the forests, the savannas, they provide a very conducive environment for the birds here to survive. And for anybody looking for amazing birding experience, Uganda is the right place. Birding will always start from your bathroom window, from your veranda as you get out of your room, in the garden of your hotel or lodge. Then you get out in the forest. You'll be amazed with birds. We have got unique birds. The shoebill stock in Uganda, you can see it at Mabamba Swamp, Murchison Falls, some areas of Lake Mburu National Park, and a few other sacred places. I think also you can see the shoebill at Lake Albert, farthest western Uganda, some Lake National Park. As I told you, we have got 2 major mountains in Uganda. For a typical mountaineering enthusiast, somebody who is really interested in having the best mountaineering experience, you need to try out Rwenzori Mountains National Park. Quite often people talk about mountains in the world and mountains in Africa. The Rwenzori has got glaciers and ice throughout the year. The highest peak, which is about 5,010 meters above sea level, which is the Margarita Peak. It is actually the 3rd highest point in Africa, next to Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro. A hike up to the highest peak will take you about 8 days, full journey from down to the top and coming back. It is very close to Queen Elizabeth National Park and Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, then Kibale Forest. So it is easy to combine these places and make a complete African journey. Uganda has got lots of waterfalls. Every corner, you'll find there are lots of waterfalls and amazing volcanoes. All these are attributed to the volcanic activities that happened many million years ago. And these falls have been maintained, have been kept. So it's an amazing experience. In addition to the traditional wildlife trips, climbing some of these volcanoes, it is something good to think about. As you see here, this is not Photoshop. This is a typical volcano in southwestern Uganda, neighboring Mugume Gorilla National Park. In the slopes of these volcanoes, that is where the gorillas live. So you might be lucky on the day you are hiking up to some of these volcanoes, you may have an encounter with the gorillas or golden monkeys, and you'll not be charged any extra. Watch out for that. The Sipi Falls, this is in eastern Uganda. They do lots of adventure activities like abseiling and rock climbing. Of course, amazing photography, and listening to the sounds of the falls is such an amazing experience. Of course, we also have other waterfalls in Bwindi in the forest. So on some days, when you plan for a gorilla trip, make sure you spare some time to go for the waterfall walk, or spare another day to climb a volcano or two. Some volcanoes you can take just a day, others you can take 3 days. So there's more than just that. The amazing Lake Victoria. This is the world's second largest freshwater lake, and most of it is actually in Uganda. As Ugandans, we have wisely utilized this lake by providing interesting activities. Lake Victoria, if you've heard about the Ngamba Chimpanzee Island Sanctuary, it is somewhere, it is one of the islands that Lake Victoria has got. That is where the Jane Goodall Institute established the chimpanzee sanctuary, where the orphaned chimpanzees live. Some of these have been picked from wrong people, those trying to take them out, to take them as pets, others trying to export them to zoos somewhere. Lake Victoria also offers boat trips, sunset trips, fishing excursions, and in the evenings, we also do wine and cheese boat cruises. And on the other part of Lake Victoria, on the Ginger side, we do booze cruises. Yes, I mean booze cruises. So you get to do lots of water activities, photography, of course, looking at the sun, looking at the fishermen as they cast their nets. It's a unique experience. The River Nile, as you might be knowing, this is the longest river, and its source is right here in Uganda, about 2 to 3 hours drive from Entebbe Airport. I'll call it maybe an hour and a half drive from Kampala, the major city. The River Nile offers amazing activities like whitewater rafting, tubing, water floating, canoeing. And as you can see, rafting in these rapids is not an everyday experience. You know, we always say you'd rather get scared to death than being bored to death. So if you want to try out a typical adventurous experience, please, the River Nile offers all that, and we are lucky to have it here. Lots of bird species, lots of amazing adventurous activities. You turn around, you can tell your guide to flip the boat, and you can hold on it, you can go follow the river, and the kayakers will come and pick you up. You don't have to get scared. The Murchison Falls, further in the north, is an icon in Uganda. It is such a unique fall. This is where the River Nile forces itself into a very narrow gorge, falling down about 45 meters down. making this plunge pool of a waterfall. And on this other side, where you take a walk, then go somewhere up, you get to see, that's why they call the Devil's Quadrant. Uganda has got rich culture and history with some amazing old houses of worship. As you can see, this is the Baha'i Temple, which is the only one in Africa. It is found in Uganda. We've got other religious and worshiping centers, some of which are as old as 150 years, and they're still standing and in a fine state. Uganda is generally a religious country with over 80% they're Christians. Then we've got other beliefs. We've got the Hindu temples. Those very old temples still exist. We have the mosques, very old mosques, and some of which they've got that rich Arabic architect and Italian architect, the British architect, all centered around Christianity. When you talk about history and culture, Uganda is the source of all the history you can think about. The pictures you see here are for the Batwas. These people that are believed to have the first people to live in the forests that were surrounding the major parts of Burundi, Congo, Rwanda, and Uganda. The biggest part of these countries was majorly forests, and these were the first forest dwellers. And it's on record that this is the oldest living tribe that up to now that's still existing. If there's any other, it hasn't been documented, but we know this is one of the oldest living tribe, and these people sacrificed their land, left it for conservation. Now they live in the neighboring areas of the gorilla parks of Bwindi and Mugahinga national parks and other islands of southwestern Uganda. So on other days, you get an opportunity to go and walk with the Batwa. You get to see where they are living. You visit their homesteads. They will present for you different things like how to make fire, like how it used to happen during the old Stone Age, using a stick and rolling it on a rock. Then you see the fire coming. They will do a demonstration of the hunting skills. You can also get a bow and arrow and try out your hunting skills. If you get used to this, you'll never like the guns again. But of course, they don't hunt anymore because they love conservation. They're now part of conservation. They will take you through, this gentleman here acts as the medicine man. Will take you through how they used to make medicines in the bush, how they used to live. They are the kind of people who lived without any modern medicine. You know, they survived without all this. So they're amazing people. Get to learn, get to know about them. You can enjoy a meal with them. We do organize research trips. This is whereby you get an opportunity to become part of the research team. You get to use research equipment. There are collared lions and leopards. These are mainly used for research. It's not that they're sick or anything, but some of them need some close monitoring for various reasons, as you'll be told by the researchers. So you get up early in the morning, you join the guides, get the researchers. As part of your game drive experience, you get so close to these amazing predators. But of course, you're not only limited to predators, you get to see other animals like the elephants, the other lots of birds, lots of antelopes. You get so close to nature, you know, you get a full detailed explanation. They tell you about the wildlife human conflicts that are happening in some parts of the park. You can even offer to get involved to help see how best we can conserve the predators, the lions, the leopards, so that the two, the human beings and wildlife, can all coexist. Because some of these places, people lived there before the introduction of national parks. So certain policies do not allow the idea of people living these places fully, but there's always a way to ensure that these people live together in harmony with wildlife. Adventure consults, we work so much with experts, researchers. Here is Dr. Gladys. She's well known for her work in conserving gorillas. When you see Dr. Gladys, all that comes in your mind is definitely gorillas. She'll always talk about gorillas, but her work is not just about gorillas, but wildlife in general. She established a center in Windy, just right next to the park gate, called Conservation Through Public Health. And the idea behind it is to change people's mindset, people living near the Windy Impenetrable National Park, to change them and love conservation. Get to know that conserving the forests, protecting the gorillas makes their livelihoods better, not bitter. And this has worked so well. People love it. People love it, and they are now part of conservation. So how does she do this? Is to she have Dr. Gladys and the team. They spend some time in the forest, looking after gorillas. They spend some time picking samples like the dung and all that, then bring it to the lab at Conservation Through Public Health, and they examine them and see if there could be some, diseases that may affect that diseases from the gorillas to the communities or from communities to the gorillas. So we have a special program called Dr. Gladys Intimate Gorilla Experience. So here you get to enter the forest, you track with her, you go to the forest with her, collect the dung, then one evening you bring it to the lab. After that, the following day, you are invited to the lab to do the examination and see if this dung doesn't have any diseases or the gorillas are healthy, then they were happy and good. If there's any problem, then Dr. Gladys and her team will always follow up. They have come up with different projects like Coffee Project, mainly focused on enhancing and empowering the local communities so that they don't hate conservation, they don't hate tourism. So you can be part of this experience. Of course, you really have to book well in advance. She's a very busy lady. She spends most of the time moving around the world, preaching the gospel about gorilla conservation. So tracking gorillas with Dr. Gladys is a unique way and a special way for an insight into the gorilla experience. We organize photography trips. Some of these typical photography workshops that where we're in partnership with international photography instructors who have learned the art to share their ideas with anybody interested in photography, amateur photographers to senior photographers to well-experienced photographers. So you can be part of this. Or we also have local photographer guides here in Uganda. So if you want to keep it not so complicated, you can book anytime. It doesn't have to be a scheduled one with international photography guides, but we can always make it at any time you wish with the local guides here. So many people here in Uganda have picked interest in wildlife photography, which is a very good thing. This has provided the best opportunities for travelers to spend more time in the country. As I told you, the country is well endowed with a lot of diversity, so it provides for everything, birding photography, big wildlife. As you can see here, this gentleman, he was photographing a rhino somewhere at the rhino sanctuary. We do fishing trips because of the rivers and the lakes that are surrounding the country, both big and small. They provide ideal and very good conditions for the survival of different fish species, but mainly the tilapia here. We use different methods. We also have guides, both international and local guides. Cycling trips. These have just been introduced. Well, we've been having cycling trips for quite some time, but now the approach has changed. We used to do mainly only on the upcountry roads, but now we offer cycling trips in the national parks like Lake Mburu. You get close to the zebras, of course the buffaloes in the distance. They are escorted cycling trips if you're doing it in the national parks. Then we also do cycling excursions in the Bwindi forest, in Kibale, around the tea plantations. then also around Lake Victoria, then in Jinja by the shores of the Nile. So get to be part of this. If you arrive in Tebe and you have like 5 hours layover before your next flight, or maybe you're flying out the following day, a cycling excursion around Entebbe area, then down to the botanical gardens is highly recommended. In Bundi, as I told you, the local people have been encouraged to come up with different activities. And of course, with the support of tour operators, the private sector and government, and people like Dr. Gladys, people have picked interest in different activities like tea plantations and coffee plantations. So on some of the afternoons or full days, you may want to participate in what we call the tea or coffee ceremonies. You get to go to the garden, to the plantations, you see how it is planted, they take you through. You can even grab a basket and pick, throw in the basket, then go down, they show you how it is made right from the leaf to the grain, then to the putting it in the cup, and taste your own coffee from the garden. Then we also provide senior travel trips because we feel there are some travelers who want to just come and tick off the list 1, 2 nights, 3 nights in a place and off they go. But then we have special activities for the senior travelers who really want to spend more time. They don't want to keep packing and unpacking every other day. It's important that you get to see some of these places, have an in-depth understanding, do like 4 game drives in one national park, do several nature walks, because every day is different, every experience is different. You get to see different groups of chimpanzees, for example. You get to the coffee plantation and spend there a full day. You'll never know what you'll see. You find there butterflies, different birds, and all that. So this kind of arrangement gives people time, more time to learn more, to enjoy, to relax, such that it's not about what you must do, but you get to do what you really want to do at your own pace without rushing. This can be in groups, it can be individuals, but in most cases, this has shown to be successful when it is done in small groups of 5 to 10, or even 2 as a couple. If you're planning for a honeymoon, this is a perfect kind of thing to do. We've got different day trips and excursions. I'll just run through. As I told you, we have Ngamba Island for the chimpanzees, Lake Victoria Sunset Cruise, the botanical gardens. We have different things you can do, all starting in Entebbe and Jinja. I already took you through what the River Nile can offer: kayaking, Nile high bungee jumping. You can do horseback riding on the shores of the River Nile and the villages and the forests neighboring the Nile. Of course, cycling experience by the Nile is amazing as you see the waterfalls. Yes, that is it about Uganda. So as Adventure Consults, we craft all this into a package to suit your budget and time available. Our trips can be 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10, or any, depending on how much time you have and what is your budget. So we make it possible for you. We do groups, we do individual trips, we do way bigger than this. Accessibility to Uganda's parks, because some people don't want to drive for more than 6 hours, more than 5 hours on the road. But the good news is that all Uganda's national parks can be accessed by short bush flights. You can see this wasn't a small group. These amazing consultants. They were from America. I don't know, maybe you may identify some of them. You might have worked with them, or they're your colleagues somewhere. So these short flights have made accessibility to the national parks from Entebbe International Airport very easy. The flight takes about 2 hours maximum, sometimes 1 hour and a half. So you're able to get to Bwindi, relax, do afternoon activities, community activities before the gorilla tracking and all that. Uganda has got beautiful roads. For those who don't want to take flights and are okay with taking road options, we are always happy to do that. Our vehicles are very comfortable. Our guides are well experienced and they'll engage you, of course, with stops along the way for photography, the interesting stop points. Get to eat that roadside Ugandan food. Get to play around with the boys on the roadside playing football on a Sunday afternoon, then you proceed with your journey. So Uganda's national parks and all activities can be accessed by road as well, of course, in addition to the flight. Accommodations, our packages would always include accommodations. We do not limit where you should stay. But we make sure that the places that are recommended are ideal for you. The major points and areas that we look out to is, of course, security, proper hygiene, and accessibility to major activities. So also, depending on your budget and what kind of accommodation, it might be a tent, it might be a big block hotel, it might be a 12-room hotel. So depending on availability, budget, and interest, we'll always do that for you. There is no best time to visit Uganda. You can visit Uganda anytime. As I told you at the beginning, the weather is very conducive throughout the year. So whenever you're ready, just let us know and we'll make it for you. What they call the rainy season, it's actually the best time to do photography. The dry season, of course, is the best for nature walks and possibly doing some, game drives in the savannas, but it all works because even when it rains, it never rains throughout the day. And if it rains, sometimes the rain is warm, so you'll enjoy it as well. It's never too heavy to interrupt any activities. Yeah, why travel with Adventure Consult? This is always a very big question. And of course, there are some things that we do differently and other people don't. Some do them as well, but we do them differently. All our guests are met to arrive at the airport. We meet them behind the counter. As soon as people get off the aeroplane, we meet you there, help you through customs without queuing up. Now with the current travel guidelines of checking this, checking that, we have a staff who is always there to help you do all the paperwork as you're looking on. Then after that, take you through, pick your bags and hand you over to the guide and proceed to the hotel. Our guides, we use guides that are born here in different places. They are well experienced, professional in different languages. We provide a personalized service in such a way that from the start of the conversation with your consultant, you're taken care of, they'll handle your inquiries, price it for you, your trip begins, they hand you over to the guides, get a personal briefing, we check on you. If you have booked through an agency or one of our good working partners, you get daily updates on what is happening. You get to know every detail of what is happening in the trip. Our vehicles are fully equipped with sockets for charging systems, and we have a little fridge just right behind here. You can see they've got large windows for photography. They're equipped with bin bags for typical photographers with very good window level. Just put your camera on the seat here and be able to take amazing photos across. With pop-ups, these are some of the latest extended Land Cruisers, well raised to meet the road conditions in the national parks. We do not, as I told you earlier, we don't limit you what kind of trip you have to do. We sit with you, we ask questions, you tell us what you want to do, we tailor make it, we craft it to suit your interest. So we do not limit. Accommodation, we never restrict where to stay. We do not run in accommodations, but we have very good partnerships with accommodation owners, and we have competitive rates. So we are a one-stop point. You don't have to think about, you don't have to worry about what kind of accommodation. So long as it's available and you love it and it fits within your budget, which we price carefully, we are very mindful of that, then it is there for you. We work with the local communities. Remember, where you're going as a tourist, this is a home to some of these people. So we make sure we work with them so that you're able to be taken care of with all the comforts. People are very welcoming when we do this kind of approach. Conservation ethics, we make sure there is very, very minimal negative impact on the environment and the local communities. So we are very careful, we are very mindful. This is for the future of tourism, for the future of wildlife. Our prices are all inclusive. When you're on trip, just know everything is covered. Of course, in some places, there might be a few extras, but the major things, all the activities, the gorilla permits, park entrance fees, game drives, flights, and all that, domestic flights, I mean, all of these are all inclusive. So we are not the type who are going to ask you to pay for any extra when you're already here. We have insurance, both evacuation and liability insurance. So you are well taken care of. So with that kind of with that kind of care, professionalism, amazing guides, amazing accommodations, good attractions, what else would you be looking for? In summary, it's only in Uganda where you can see about 13 primate species. You can see the big five. You can do water activities. You can do rafting. You can do fishing. You do all that in a very short time without crossing borders. And at the end of your trip, you end up cheering. So we say, thank you so much for taking your time to listen to us. We thank you and hope to see you soon in Uganda. Thank you.